beaten for the color of my skin. I grew up being raped because no two shits. But my experience is unique. 90% of sexual assaults are at the hands of a family member. 90%, 80% of the time, those family members are one or the other of your parents. Sexual assault in urban areas is much higher. Right? Urban versus rural? Which one is really higher? Do you really take care of your own in a small town? No, you don't. You absolutely don't. That's why boys are killing themselves at a much higher rate out in the country. A much higher rate. Now, why is it that certain crimes are less likely to happen in a small town? Because everybody fucking knows everybody, dumbass. When it comes to domestic violence, everybody knows. When Mr. Starostka beat the fuck out of his wife, everybody knew. Everyone. That's right. He got a slap on the fucking wrist. Oh, and she took him back. Did men beat the shit out of her, or did her husband? In rural areas, you're a lot more likely to be beaten by your husband. You're more likely to experience a more severe beating. The further you are away from town, the more severe the beating is likely to be. Because all he's got to do, well, Todd Ryan case, what did he do? In a city in Colorado. He wanted to hold his girlfriend down and scream in her face. Choke her. Then he took away her keys to her car, took away her phone, and kicked her out of her apartment and locked her out. It was still snowing outside. Still snowing outside. Now, thank goodness she wasn't 30 miles in the fucking country. But sure, you take care of your own. But who is it that you consider your own? Huh? That's right, I'm making the crazy eyes. And you smile real big so it makes you look psycho. Oh, yeah. Oh, I look crazy and angry. Ooh. Who the fuck are you fucking kidding, pissant? Take care of your own? Yeah, you're taking care of them right into the fucking grave, you son of a bitches. Right into the grave. Your sons are going. Yeah, sure, Mr. Aldean. Notice I'm being respectful and calling you a mister, which is far more than you deserve. In rural areas, there's no help. Chapel, Nebraska, there's no police department. It's just the sheriff's department. You get called mentally ill, that's the end of your life in a town like that. Especially with no real friends or family. When you're on your own, you're on your own. Rural areas, sure, you take care of your own. You know, my mom was able to extort, well, my mom and my Uncle Greg were able to extort over $200,000 from my Grandpa Bruns. They had something to hold over his head. Was it that my grandpa was taking care of them? No. It's that they were blackmailing that rapist piece of shit. In rural areas, how human you are is dependent on how much they consider you one of their own. If you're not one of their own, oh sure, they'll say nice things to you. And then they'll talk shit behind your back. Now, of course, this statistic here wants to claim that it's just due to suicides, or that's the only thing that they're really putting any emphasis on. It's not just suicide. Ask Alyssa Derry of Chapel, Nebraska what happened to her grandmother. Her grandfather was in a wheelchair when he killed her grandmother. Her Uncle Kelly was implicated, of course, by speculation of the people in a small town, and ostracized and even beaten up a couple of times. The man only had one leg. He was also a meth addict. Do you think Alyssa or Amber Derry are gonna be proud of their grandfather? Proud of their Uncle Kelly? No, fuck no. Nobody in a small town gives a fuck if it's the truth or not. Nobody. They care about who's popular. Now, I'm sticking to the small towns that I know. There's a lot of them. And I could go through and tell you about a lot of people in a lot of these small towns who were raped. Both men and women. Beaten. Both men and women. You also get to see how the mentally ill tag is used to victimize the victim and get away with it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Small towns, just like big cities, the cops will beat the fuck out of you for being broke. But in a big city, somebody might give a fuck. Sundown towns like Chapel, Nebraska and Tillamook, Oregon, they hire their specific police officers for a specific reason. Same reason that Boulder, Colorado hires officers like Officer Waylon Lolatai. He's a hobo hater. Oh, and he's black, so of course it can't be a racially motivated crime. Then again, the 2 people out of the 8 people in Boulder, Colorado that he assaulted on camera, there's only 2 of them that were not homeless, and both of them were black men. Both of them won their cases by playing like they were racially profiled. And the reality is, literally all evidence points to the police confusing these people for homeless people. As Boulder, Colorado, it's kind of a small town. It's a small city. Or a large town. Chapel, Nebraska. It's a small town. The popular girls in town, the pretty ones, the one to brag about being a small town girl. Oh, I'm just a country girl. You got acreage. You got a pet fucking horse, for Christ's sake. Yeah, your experience as a country girl from that situation are far different from poor country girls. Ain't no such thing as getting a horse. Fuck, you get lucky if you're able to have a pet fucking goldfish. Shit's expensive. Having a dog or a cat is about what you're gonna have. Of course, when we're talking about spoiled white boys like jockstrap aldean who don't know what a real day's labor is, a real day's work, or a real small town is really like, Oh, but you're gonna listen to him, ain't you? Morons. You want to blame liberals. It's all the liberals' fault. Now, where did this come about? Well, you can thank Budweiser and the LGBT community for doing the same thing as small towns. Oh, we're just looking out for our own. Same thing BLM's doing. Looking out for our own. Same thing the KKK's doing. Looking out for our own. The same thing pedophiles are doing. Looking out for their own. Small towns protect the predators. In a small town, a family is more likely to try to hide the family predator and hush the victim. But yeah, sure, whatever, dude. Try that in a small town. Shit, bitch. You're a dumb son of a cunt. And don't tell me you're not. That's what you fucking dropped out of, douchebag. Oh yeah, it's not racist if you pretend it's not racist. Like, sure, if you beat a black man up just because he's black, but you didn't use the N-word. Oh, it's not racist. I didn't use the N-word. Holy shit. What an ignorant fucking dumbass. Yeah, sure, you take care of your own. Right into the fucking ground. Why are people more likely to be abused in small towns? Lack of give a shit. People have already decided your guilt and innocence before they've ever heard anything. Who's more popular? Who's more well-liked? If one of the Straska boys wants to rape a girl at a party, nobody's gonna fucking give a shit about the girl because it's one of the Straska boys. How amazing is that? In rural areas, your daughters are 70% more likely to be victims of incest and rape. Sorry, just incest. We'll have to do the numbers on rape. Rape? Yeah, you're more likely to be raped in a rural area. You're more likely to be murdered in a rural area. You're more likely to commit suicide in a rural area. You're more likely to be victimized by the police in a rural area. Because everyone's going to support it. The racist bitches in Chapel, Nebraska elect racist bitches to be the sheriff, to be the county prosecutor. Oh yeah. And you helped them to get away with it. Fucking gross.